Quiet hero is someone who rescues a child but expects nothing in return.
Absolutely, the FRC is a quiet hero.
Child Crisis Center was my hero. They most definitely saved me.
There was something more we were meant to do.
And we both, right away, were on the same page with saying, yeah, let's look into foster care. So AAFC, they supported us with resources, and they were always available, our licensing worker to call and talk to.
With our first foster son, he was 5 when we got him, and he came to us with extreme difficult behaviors, extreme trauma, extreme damage, and we struggled for the 11 months that we had him. But I believe there can be joy in doing the right thing even when it doesn't feel good.
Our biological kids learned a lot about what happens to other kids out in the world by having him in our home. With the kids that we've adopted, they all experienced neglect for sure.
Our first adopted son lived in 5 foster homes within a year before he came to us. He just looked right at me and said, "She don't want me anymore, does she?" So when he came to us, he had a lot of rebuilding to do.
I would say it took well over a year, probably closer to 2 years, for him to have a sense of safety and belonging and security, where I think he's getting a real sense of, this is my family. If we can give them love, and meet their physical needs, emotional needs, that's gonna be a good thing.
I feel like my mantra is, it's the hardest thing we've ever done, but it's the best thing we've ever done. It's changed our lives.
My middle daughter, Mihaela, had ADHD, and she had a lot of the H. There was one morning when I had just hit the end of my rope with her. I had no clue what her world was like, and so I could not diffuse her. She was like a ticking time bomb every time we were together. It got to a point where I didn't want to hold her. I did not want to touch her. I did not even want to be around her. I honestly had gone to my husband and said, I'm ready to put her up for adoption. I can't be her mom anymore because it's too much. And that was the point that I'm like, we have to have help because that's not an option. I went home that day and I started making phone calls, and I called the Resource Center. It's a hidden resource in our community that is set up to help families. You don't have to be in a crisis to go. I would probably not have my family as I have them today. Whether it destroyed my marriage, it would have at least removed one child from our home because of behavior. And today, she's a different kid. She's a totally different person than before she started taking these classes at the Family Resource Center. The most important thing you can do is have the courage to ask. When you are feeling down and you feel like you have no other place to turn, please turn to the Family Resource Center. Please turn to the Child Crisis Center. There is help and there is hope in these resources in our community. I feel like we live in a better home because of the Family Resource Center.
I was 5 years old when everything seemed to go south. We was always walking the streets. We would, go in trash cans, looking trash cans for leftovers or meals.
I started the job at the Child Crisis Center in September 1996. I was completely out of my element. He was actually cut with a beer bottle in a domestic violence fight at his house, and I just was like shocked that these things actually happen to children.
I didn't understand why I was there. What did I do wrong? Where's my family? They say they care about me. I just remember Amy. She was the only one that can really calm me You know, she was the only one I can really, like, I feel like I can talk to. The first time I seen a book was when I went to school at the Child Crisis Center.
Crisis Center had a tutor at the time who he butted heads with a lot, but she taught him how to read. He was always appreciative, which made us work harder for him. He told me one day that I did everything a mom should, treated him the way a mother should, and he started calling me Mom one day. I love William to pieces, like, with all my heart. I really do. We struggle, we battle, but I wouldn't change anything, ever. He's my son.
The place I work now is Canyon State Academy. It's a place that they work with young boys. These kids, a lot of the kids remind me of myself. We're supposed to address the kids as sir, you know, yes sir, you know, no sir. And I actually address them as brothers because to me, they're my brothers.
I am so proud of what he does at the job. He was giving the boys a lecture about how they need to change their attitudes and change their ways, and he told them it was the last lecture he was going to give them. And one kid raised his hand and said, "Please keep lecturing us, because it's what we need. And we know that you know and understand, and we need to hear it from you."
I just want them to know that, you know, it's possible. You know, if you really just remain focused on your goals and what your dreams were as a child and what your passion is, you know, it's achievable. You know, it's really achievable. It's actually possible. If I was never there for that 4 years of my life, you know, I honestly don't think I would have turned out the way I am today.
The Child Crisis Center is absolutely a hero in his life. Mine as well.
Consistent love, really consistent love.